Debt, fear, relationships, the children, your health, work. When you want to give up and you need courage to continue, take heart and stay tuned as RJ Jackson writes her signature message of hope on your heart. You don't have to live where you're dying, and you don't have to die where you're living. Like every show of Conversations on Courage, you'll be informed, inspired, and encouraged to find the courage you need to succeed at home, work, and in your business. Get your pen and paper. You'll want to take notes. And now, your host, RJ Jackson, the Courage Giver.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the table. Welcome to another episode of Conversations on Courage with me, your host, RJ Jackson, the Courage Giver. This is a show for women who dare to live authentic, bold, and courageous lives. Women who dare to push past their pain and be all that they were created to be. This is a show for women who dare to live unapologetically. This is the show where you can find the courage you need in order to succeed. This is a show for you. I like to look at this as episode 1. Although it's not our first show, it is the one that you've been waiting for. It's the one that you will appreciate and the one you'll be glad you stuck around to hear. It's the one that will help you level up in your business and in your life. It's the one you'll want to listen to over and over again. Matter of fact, it's the one you'll want to share with your friend. So why don't you actually take a moment and do that right now? You can simply hit the share button and share with those you care about. And don't forget, while you're touching those buttons, remember to subscribe. Don't forget to leave a comment. And please leave a review. On today's show, like on every show, we promise to fill your cup one sip at a time. We promise to give you information that's going to cause transformation in your situation. We promise you another epic conversation on courage. What are we going to do? Not only are we going to give you strategies for success, we're going to answer the questions that you've had the courage to ask in our online Facebook community. Girl, I'm working on it too. If you're not a part of our community, we invite you to head on over and join. Girl, I'm working on it too. Head on over and join right now to connect with a community of women who will get underneath you and lift you up. We're also going to bring you a featured speaker who will share insight and inspiration for your current situation.
Stay tuned. Coming up next, RJ brings her special guest to the table for more authentic and down-to-earth conversations on courage.
I am always excited and honored to be able to sit at the table and have a conversation, and not just any old conversation, but an epic conversation with amazing people who are living life on purpose. They've decided to push past their fear, the pain of the past, and take a risk with confidence. Today's show is no exception to the rule. Today we get to sit at the table with author Tracey George, and our featured guest for today is Kelly Baader. Kelly is a digital sales and marketing strategist. She is also the host of a premier business podcast for Christian entrepreneurs, the CEO Podcast. As a digital sales and marketing strategist, Kelly equips Christian leaders to transform their expertise and experience to profitable and impactful business. If you're ready to stand out and serve, then your sitting at the table is not in vain. Join me in welcoming to the table Kelly Baader.
Kelly, welcome all the way from Switzerland. Welcome to the table, beautiful. Thank you so much, RJ. It's an honor to be here and with all your listeners. The honor is ours, and so we want to hear from you today. We want to know your story. We want to know strategies. So, Kelly, tell us your story. I know you are currently a renowned digital sales and marketing strategist and mentor. I know you haven't always been there, even though that's what you were probably born to do. What's your journey like? Tell us your story.
Well, it's a 51 years of the story to RJ. I don't know how much time we have. Okay, that's just keeping aside. You guys probably can hear that my accent is pretty messed up. I am originally from Taiwan, from Asia. And I was born and raised at a time in a place where baby girls were not valued much. We were just seen as a future baby production machine. No use to invest in anything, especially education. So not to mention, I was just a daughter of a mystery. So growing up, unfortunately then, but fortunately now, I look back, I went through, family violence and sexual abuse. There were over 1.5 decades of my life. It was very dark. I wouldn't know what happened to me in the night, every single night. And, between my mom and her drunken boyfriend, the knife, the furniture flying in the air was a norm. So you can imagine that the concept of self-worth wasn't registered in me much at all. And because of that, I tried to get out of the home as soon as I can. I saw that education was my only escape route. And I got myself into university. And but then right away, pretty much walked into the wrong marriage and walked out heavy wounded because I want to escape the chaotic situation at home. But basically repeating what she was doing, kind of. But then that's where I met God. There was a brother at the place I was working and brought me to a church, a local church. But that local church is not so local at all. That's where my roots started, which is United States, America. Yeah, so, America is like a second home to us. So my pastor, he is American. He and his wife got called to Taiwan, and they were there already 16 years by then. So I was saved in that little church. And from there, fast forward, that went through the, climbed the career corporate ladder, went through some interesting scenario of, you guys watch the movie, The Hidden Figures, right? I remember Catherine had to run blocks away in order to go to ladies' room. So I encountered a little bit similar situation there. I was one of the youngest female executives, and there was a couple of times when I went to the ballroom, I was the only woman, and during the coffee break, when I need to go to ladies' room, there was no ladies' room on that floor. So things like that. And from there, after I met my sweet husband now, and that's over 20 years ago, and we got married. Then we live and work over 3 continents, that including 10 years in USA in 3 states. And we just relocated back to Switzerland because he originally is from Switzerland about 4 years ago. And it's still that relocation and also build a family. So I started to build out my virtual coaching business from 2008.
What a journey. From abuse in the home, discrimination on the job, finding an escape route from Taiwan to America, to finding God. Wow, what a journey. Thank you for sharing your journey with us. You said some super powerful, life-giving things in the midst of your journey. One of them being, hey, I was in a dark place, but I found an escape route. And for so many of our listeners, they're in a dark place, but they haven't started looking for an escape route. So I just want to pause for the cause and share with our listening audience, those who are listening, God has already made a way of escape for you. You have to be willing to trust him. Look at Kelly's story of from darkness to here she is now, shining. And how long have you been married, Kelly?
Over 20 years.
Over 20 years. So for those of you who are feeling hopeless, there is hope. So what lesson, Kelly, would you say, the most valuable lesson you learned from your story that you'd like to share with us to give us an opportunity to learn something as well?
I think we all got lessons to share, you know. So in my personal journey that I would say trust and obedience to God, that is one of the common thread through through my life. When I was a baby Christian and, started from a small, that prompting, you heard God kind of prompting in your heart to deliver a Bible to I remember to the father of my one of my best girlfriends. That was a starting, and that was very scary because then in 60s, 70s in Taiwan, we only have 2% of population were Christians. So we pretty much were seen as outcast, or we kind of, my mom actually disowned me because I got to I need to get baptized. And so from there to later on, through the journey, I learned that I have the gift of discerning and prophetic. And God started to use me to speak out in a lot of larger occasions. And, we can read through a lot of stories in the Bible. We saw those prophets when they declare the Lord's order and things. It's not always popular, right?
It's absolutely true. It's not always popular. And I know this of you, Kelly. You just shared with us the one lesson that you learned that's most valuable is to trust God. And you've taken that lesson yourself. It's not something you're just giving to people and saying, but it's something you do yourself, and you do it in business. So even as the minority, in so many ways, you still put God as the majority of your life in your business. How does that pan out for you, being in the minority, in that 2%, but yet still saying, I'm going to trust God and my business is going to be about God, especially as a digital sales and marketing strategist? How does that work out for you?
Well, I think the 2% there in Taiwan, when then I was in my career place, I did not have business. I was just a corporate executive. And even then, there was a project. I was working for a luxury membership-based club. Basically, if I want to describe it, it's like in USA, the Ritz-Carlton Hotel without the accommodation, that kind of luxury club. Inside have restaurants, have a recreation, have spa, that kind of place. It's very popular in Asian culture. So it's a very high price for the membership fee. And we were able to sell way beyond the budget number in the industry. Actually, we brought the industry record by totally did the opposite way around than the industry way. Normally, a lot of clubs then, they will give the starting price that people to join the membership, and afterwards they will slowly lower the price because the honeymoon period is gone and will be less people will join the members. We did the opposite. We did it. If you join early, you got the best rate, and afterwards, if they want to join, 30 days later, 60 days, 90 days later, we raise our rate. From the beginning, we did that. Nobody believed us that we can survive. But afterwards, because God told me to do that, I was the marketing director of the membership, and that was to put a job on the line because the meeting in the owners and with the board, they said, what is the strategy to launch this thing? When I proposed that, I was a laughing stock. And that was the enemy was to set up a male boss to say that, okay, why not we just let her do? Because actually that male boss is trying to get rid of me as soon as he can. He was a little bit jealous about my achievement as a woman then. But through that process, 4 months in, we got a multi-million-dollar thing. We got the record-breaking history in our industry. And I use this example to say, to encourage you guys, it doesn't matter where you are. Even you just a mother, stay at home, we also kind of from our children little at home, how we discipline them, how we grow them up, based on the biblical principle. And it wasn't popular either among the neighbors. So it doesn't matter where you are, right? If you truly believe the Lord God is your God and that he should be the ruler over your life, then if you trust him and obey what he's saying, and even you did wrong, but if you did wrong with the heart, you know that you follow what he says. Still, God is much bigger than our mistake, and he is really he cared the most is about our heart. I mumble a little bit. I just try to give as much value as I can to your listeners, RJ.
And you are giving so much value, Kelly. I almost feel like, say, preach it, girl, and then stopping to take an offering. This is good. Listen, trust God and obey is what I heard you say. And it's bigger when we trust God and obey. It is record-breaking and way bigger than anything the enemy has in store for us. So if you didn't catch that, let me just repeat it one more time what Kelly said. Trust God and obey. So, Kelly, you've been trusting God. You've been obeying. You moved back to Switzerland. And as a digital sales and marketing strategist, you started your business there. Kind of like, I'm not sure if it's revamping or you did something different to continue your clients. But first, tell us, what is a digital sales marketing strategist? Like, what do you do? And how did you change once you moved to Switzerland, if you changed at all?
Okay, so I don't change much at all. The beauty is I started this virtual coaching and consulting business since we live in USA. And because it is virtual, therefore it doesn't change, meaning I still can have business wherever I am as long as the internet. And so however, that what I do mainly is to help people to get clear their message and then create their offer suite so they can create a profitable, impactful business. But after we got back to Switzerland, I add one more side of the business. It's God say that to it's time to fulfill the mandate. When I was in Vegas, there was 1 year. That's where one of our home is in Vegas. And on my birthday, I had a little ritual. It's my birthday. I took communion with God at 5 o'clock in the morning, and suddenly I felt a very strong presence behind my back. I was standing against my kitchen counter, and my coffee and Bible is on the counter. And the presence was so real, I turned around and saw no one. And I thought, okay, then I knew I'm quote unquote in trouble. And that was the first time I heard audible voice of the Lord. And he said, happy birthday, Kelly. And I was trembling. And I said, thank you, Abba. Then the next thing what he said is what I really wasn't prepared for. He asked me, what do you want? And RJ, like 3 weeks before that, as a family, our kids were little. They were just in the toddler age. We were just writing a letter, like act of faith to God, that what we need. The items, all different kind of items from family members' salvation all the way to our washing machine, literally. And so when he asked, what do you want? I have all the temptation to say, well, that thing on the list, those things on the list, on the letter. But somehow I was able to hold back, and I thought if I only had one chance, can answer this question, I better have a good one. And I said, Lord, if what you say true, and I believe what you say true, that what the wisdom you gave to Solomon, I want that too, and also for my family members. And I sense that he has such a big grin in his face, and he smiled and said, yeah, it is granted. Oh, by the way, those things on that later as well. Less than 3 weeks, every single thing on that later came to pass. Then,
wow.
But and then what then he said, the next, he said, Kelly, you still have one place to move to, which we didn't know because that moment we live in Vegas and we did not know before we moved back to Switzerland, we will have one place to move to, which later we moved to Bangkok before we moved back. And he said, after you go home, I want you to feed my sheep in the marketplace. He said, because many of my kids, they don't know how to walk in the marketplace. And my husband and I, we both were ministers of inside the walls. We call it, basically, we were part of the founding members of a local church in Vegas. And 2 years in, God said, now it's time to go out. You guys are places in the marketplace, not inside the wall. So I understood what God said. A lot of time, many of us Christians, that when we are in the bottom of the mountain, and a lot of us, we point fingers. Instead of focus on how we can thrive and succeed, go to the top of the mountain so then we can have influence. We don't need a whole lot of people on the top 3% of the mountain. We just need enough of us. And that's one of the things that now my passion and mission is to equip the Christian entrepreneurs or aspiring one to become the Christian CEO. The difference between entrepreneur and CEO is when you become CEO, that means you're going to have a team. You truly then you can give job that you can make a whole lot much bigger impact and through the digital marketing. And that's what one of the main things that I'm doing now.
So
you didn't really change. You just kind of shifted a little bit because you used the digital marketing and virtual ability to do your business to help people get clear and create an offer. So I know for sure in the marketplace as Christians, we kind of struggle sometimes with business and faith and Christianity because we're like, well, should we give it away? Should we charge? What should we do? Do you help people get clear in that area, like between faith and business in the marketplace?
Oh, yeah, that's one of the main things inside our Christian CEO University, which is a membership-based community. We are still small because I didn't really promote it. Probably do a whole lot more later on this year. But you're welcome to join. We have that kind of conversation all the time. We give a very practical, applicable biblical principle to apply to your business. We also teach you the principle that how you behave and attract that you are kings. When we say that, meaning, remember Esther, right? Esther and the king. I trust that we have a lot of Joseph and Esther's probably now listening to this broadcast. And you know that you have a cause. You have something that God gave inside of you. And but you don't know how to get started. You don't know how to create a profitable business. And that's what the Christian CEO University we do. Because here's the thing. I totally can relate what you just mentioned, that people say, should I charge, should I give away? The thing is, remember King David, he was searching a piece of land and to build an altar to worship the Lord. And when he went to the landowner, and the landowner said, oh, yeah, King, go ahead and take it. And King said, no, I need to buy. Call me the highest price. I need to buy. I need to pay for it. Because King David truly understands if you want to harvest, you need to sow. So therefore, the seed, time, and harvest principle, right? If you want that, you need to charge what you're worth to your customer, to your clients. At the same time, you also need to invest in yourself, whether that's buying course, buying equipment, hire coaching, all those things. That is investment. If you don't, you only can do as much as you can. I know a lot of Christians just get a lot of free stuff. That won't get you anywhere because what you are doing is just a piecemeal. There's no system. There is no a success path to walk on. A little bit like a disciple. There's two scenarios in the Bible. The disciple went fishing with Jesus. One is before the resurrection. One is after. And before that one, they got. Remember, the net was broken. The boat started to sink, and they lost fishes. But the second time, the boat did not sink. The net did not break. They got 153 fishes, and they even able to sit down, have a breakfast with Jesus. That alone is a whole sales and marketing funnel, right? The lessons right there. So can you tell? I have a lot to share.
I love it, and that's why I've been so excited about this opportunity to have you share, because you're right. You have so much value to bring to the Christian entrepreneur community, to our listeners. So thank you. I am just like soaking it up myself. I'm on my third plate, and I still don't feel full because I'm like, give me more. Like a little kid, I want more, Mommy. So I love what you just shared in terms of the concept of sowing and harvesting. And you talked about, as Christians, we have to commit to sowing into our ourselves as well as other ministries. And if we don't do that, it's almost like you said in the beginning, a sign of not trusting God to supply our needs. Because when we invest, it's like letting go and saying, God, I'm going to trust you for the return on this and the investment. So good stuff, Kelly. Thank you. Let me ask you about being clear and creating an offer. How do we, if you could give us like one tip, how do we start getting clear on what we're supposed to be doing as entrepreneurs?
Well, I think that is a very big question. I think actually I have a framework called Power of One Framework. And Power of One Framework is to talk about 4 areas, 1, 1, 1, 1. It's like what is the number one solution you can provide to your number one offer, to your number one client based on the best version of you right now. Because I see way too many people got overwhelmed, and because they look at outside. It's before, I think, in the online marketing place, we have a lot of message out there, and all teach about how to, show how to find your ideal customer, right?
Uh-huh.
But, before we can go out to find our ideal customer, actually we should look inwardly what is your personal manifesto. So let me explain. I remember, in U.S., you guys have a magazine. It's quite popular. I love it. It's called Success Magazine by Darren Hardy.
Right.
So Darren, I was once in his program, and he shared this with me. He said before he got married, he, write down like 30 to 40 criteria that what kind of woman he want to marry to. And then he was satisfied after the list is done. The following morning, he woke up, and then he looked at now that list. It suddenly hit him. What kind of man that this lady will be attracted to?
That's powerful.
So in other words, a lot of Christians or not, a lot of entrepreneurs, the new ones, when they came online, it's so much shiny object syndrome going out there. And so they right away be sucked in, all different kind of offers, tell them about you need to find your target audience, you find your target audience, solve their problem, what is the pain point, while all those are correct, but it's only 50%. Because you actually, as a Christian, you need to sit down with God that what kind of business that God wants you to start with. And although as a new beginner, you probably don't know exactly. But what I meant is there will be an itch. There will be a call that in your core that you will know that, what kind of people I probably call to serve. And what kind of experience you already have, the good and the bad ones, right? Because sometimes God turns your mess to the message, right? And so I have a process to walk people going through to really craft their own personal manifesto first, and then we look at that to mirror with the possible tribe or the audience they want to attract, and see how that go to how that match to each other. And ideally, if they have some rough idea or concept, what kind of audience they want to attract, my advice always is try your best, go to grab the real people, 5 to 10 of them, and sit down, have a cup of coffee or tea, in person or Skype or Zoom, it doesn't matter, but have a real conversation. You have preset questions and ask each single one of them Because till you talk to the real person, everything else is just educated guess, and that won't get you anywhere. And if you're willing to do the legwork that days ahead, it will save you some time, no kidding, years of work and resources.
And the legwork is so important, but everything in the American culture right now speaks against it because it's all instant, put a post up, get hundreds of likes and followers, and there you go, which in reality is not the truth. And I think so many people have fallen prey to the social media crave that says all you got to do is this. But you're right. We got to do the legwork, and the legwork starts with first asking God, and then, as you said earlier, trusting God. Kelly, oh, my goodness, like I know we could go on. I can listen for days, and I'd love to, but I know we can't do it in this format. So I know that we can listen to you through your podcast because you are also a podcaster, and you have the Christian CEO podcast. Tell us how we can listen not only to your podcast, but how we can stay connected with you.
Well, everywhere in the social media is Kelly Baader, and the last name spelling is Baader. And you also can, I try to get back to my YouTube channel. Actually, if you want to know my story, I hire a crew and we create a 5 minutes of video to describe the 51 years of a story. If you're interested, you can go to YouTube channel, just key in Kelly Baader. I'm sure you find me. And yes, please subscribe to the podcast. I interview the field experts, meaning they are not necessarily they are Christians, but they are the best at what they do. And that is a part of the thing. I feel like probably I do things differently. I don't like that we just kind of operate inside the Christian bubble, you know. We should go out there to take what it belongs to us, to take the land, instead of just kind of bubble ourselves up. And so, yeah, please subscribe to Christian CEO podcast and leave a review. Let me know how we're doing. I'll be much appreciated. And the website is kellybaader.com. If you're interested in my personal story, earlier RJ mentioned that process. The details is Amazon. It's a 2012 bestseller. It's called A Little Girl Called Grace. And you can find it there as well.
And if you missed that, you can always find it on our website, conversationsoncourage.com. That's conversationsoncourage.com. Kelly, even in your sharing your contact information, you continue to give us value. Oh, my gosh. Like, we have got to stay connected to you, and we've got to learn more on how to do what God has called us to do. So leave us, if you will, a word of courage and encouragement that will help us take a risk with confidence.
Wow. I would say, personally, this year, God gave me 3 words to encourage my entrepreneurial tribe. The first was align, and the second was accelerate, and the third was abundance. Align, accelerate, abundance. So you need to align with what God called you to do. You need to align with God wants you to work with certain people, and so forth. And then, therefore, then you will be able to accelerate in 2019. If you don't align, you cannot accelerate. And if you're able to accelerate, will accelerate you to the promised land. That's what's abundance. So I hope that this will encourage you all that if you truly want that breakthrough that you desire for a long time, you need to, ask God how you can align, and then so you can accelerate and go into the promised land of abundance.
Align, accelerate, and abundance. We are on our way. Kelly, thank you for putting us on the path that leads us to the King, that allows us to do what He's called us to do and trust that what He says is true for our life and in our business. What an amazing conversation that has left us full of wisdom, understanding, and even feeling more valuable ourselves. Thank you, Kelly. It's been an amazing conversation here with you at the table.
Thank you for having me. It's my honor. Thank you.
And now, because you asked for it, we were listening. Our newest segment to the Conversations on Courage podcast is the Author Spotlight. This week, we spotlight author Tracey George and her book, The Blessed Place.
Tracey George, welcome to the table, beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
What an honor and what a privilege it is to have you here sharing your book, The Blessed Place, with us. I know that in your book you empower your readers to overcome personal obstacles, even while improving their relationships in their family, their business, and in ministry. So where is, or should I say, what is the blessed place?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question. The word blessed means made holy or consecrated, and place is a particular position or point in space. So it's not just a state of mind, but it's also a time or a season where you pull away and you get into a intimate place with God so that you can hear him clearly concerning the directives of your life, or perhaps an issue that you had faced or addressed and you need to learn the lessons behind that.
An intimate place. In our culture nowadays, nothing's intimate, nothing's sacred. It's all out there. We just put it on social media. How do we get back to that intimate place to get into that blessed place?
When we learn to do as Jesus did, when they presented the woman to him, instead of just speaking right out, he simply withdrew and began to write on the ground. Sometimes we have to withdraw or get into a quiet time and begin to reflect, to rest, so that we can be renewed. We have a tendency to be an instant kind of people where we want things right away, but the Bible talks about inheritance gained too quickly or prematurely can be a problem. So when we pull away, it gives us an opportunity to reflect or to rest so that we can know that the decisions or the directives given are the ones necessary for us.
When it comes to intimate, it means we got to pull away. But how do we pull away, Tracey, when everything around us is pulling us in different directions?
We have to begin to take those opportunities. When you rest, a lot of times we don't consider rest and intimacy in the same thought process. We tend to think or go through the process of just doing the day-to-day, so that we've pulled away from those things. Intimacy brings you to a vulnerable place. It opens you up. And a lot of times we have gotten comfortable with putting on the mask and having the cookie cutter answers. When we get to where we're actually resting, pulling away from the humdrum, not allowing ourselves to get caught up in the storm or caught up in the distractors, and we absolutely begin, because that's where relationship is formed. When we get into that intimate place, when we get to recognizing the sacredness of it and understanding that although we have the corporate, we can't forget the individual time, that opportunity to develop a one-on-one relationship with God, a one-on-one time to be able, and that's what the blessed place is all about. Going back to that individual. It's so easy to hide in the corporate, but when you begin to pull away and really get back into meditating, like Psalm 1 says, where we both meditate both day and night, and really get back in his word and really begin to understand how important that is, then we'll see ourselves getting back into a more intimate place.
You talked about doing, which we are caught up in doing versus being. And as a result, we do as leaders sometimes, especially in ministry, we get burned out. So how does one avoid burnout even while assisting their own staff to develop?
The basic definition of burnout is physical or mental collapse or exhaustion caused by overwork or stress. So what we have to do is we begin to realize that we've allowed ourselves to become fatigued, depressed, loss of appetite. So one of the things we can do to reclaim that is to really rest, because a lot of people talk about going into sleep, but they wake up still tired. And so one of the things that I try to do is to have folks empty out before they shut down for the day. Actually empty out. Have that person that they can talk to, or to talk to the Lord prior to actually attempting to go to sleep, because if you don't rest, then you're taking that stress with you, and you wake up with that stress. And so you don't wake up refreshed. You don't wake up ready to seize the day. You're still on lockdown. So it pours into your ministerial staff when you're trying to help them. You become a bit snappy. You might become withdrawn, so that they're not getting what they need from you, because you have withdrawn and you're not getting what you need. And so that rest allows you, real rest allows you to be able to be refreshed and not still carrying things from days gone by.
What's one thought that most people have about being in the blessed place that's really a misconception? And what's the truth about being in the blessed place?
Well, in the blessed place, it's not a place for you to become complacent or live in a place of mediocrity. It's actually a learning place. This is a place where the Father puts you at a selah, or a pause, so that you get a chance to reflect on the things that are important, life lessons, the things you discard, the things you carry with you. And so a lot of times we have become complacent, comfortable in the complacency, or comfortable in mediocrity. God has taken us higher. And with that taking us higher, it requires stretching. And the things that we thought to discard are actually the things that He's using to stretch us. Some of those storms that we thought, I'm so glad I'm out of, the Lord turns around and shows us how through those storms we found our greatest strength.
And for someone who's in the storm right now, what words of encouragement can you give them from your book, The Blessed Place?
I would leave this thought. God never intended for us to wander around with no direction. There is a place that we can dwell in right now, and that place is the blessed place. He never intended for us to be a sheep without a shepherd. He is that good shepherd, and we are His sheep. And it's always nice to know that God is sending us a holy hug, if you will, straight from the throne room to let us know that we are okay.
I know our amazing audience would love to know more about being in the blessed place. How can they connect with you?
They can go to my website, www.traceythecoach.com.
And if you didn't have a chance to write that down, you can always catch it on our website, conversationsoncourage.com. Tracey, thank you for helping us today be in a blessed place with you, and for sharing your book, The Blessed Place. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Well, we've kept our promise again, and we've provided you with another down-to-earth, epic conversation on courage. We know you are inspired and empowered, so be sure to catch us for every episode. Simply subscribe to give us a review and put your comments below. You can find us on iTunes, iHeart, and YouTube. As your host, it's my pleasure not only to connect you with amazing people, but to encourage, inspire, and empower you to take a risk with confidence. As a personal and professional development confidence booster, coach, and speaker, you can count on me to boost your confidence so that you can take a risk and take your business as well as your life to the next level. Let's have a conversation on courage and on purpose. Connect with me today. You deserve to live your best life now.
Thank you for joining us for Conversations on Courage. Now that you've been inspired, informed, and encouraged, it's time for you to take action. So head on over to thecouragegiver.com. That's thecouragegiver.com and connect with RJ for a personal conversation on courage. She's waiting to help you take the risk you need to succeed.